Everyone else is making a year-end video of all their builds. Figured I might as well join in on the fun. I didn't build as many as I wanted to this year. That is because this car, if you guys remember, this took me almost 4 months to build. This car though, I went all in on. All the carbon fiber, I made all my own templates. I done all the photo etch, I added all the plumbing. This car just took a long time to build. I got kind of a late start in on it too. I moved in from the garage down to the basement, so I had to reset up down there. The only downside to this was the doors did not fit that well, and the rear bonnet, as you saw, it's a little bit warped. So what I do is I just keep the bonnet propped open, and the doors, I tape them shut from the bottom. I could still remove that tape and open them if I want to, but as a static model that just sits on a shelf, I keep the doors closed. And the doors are probably my fault though. I got some carbon fiber decals in there, and I got maybe 5 or 6 layers of paint and clear coat. So the tolerances may be off a bit. All in all though, phenomenal kit. There is nothing I would change about this. And next up from there, I built one of my holy grails. You guys remember that discussion a few weeks ago? This was the Fujimi McLaren F1 GTR. It's kind of hard to see down in there, but the full interior, I had done carbon fiber on this one, so that took a little while. Other than that, it was just a bunch of detail work. You could see through the body there. I made all the mesh for this, all the openings. That includes the front grills that we see right here. I also corrected the vents. The road car is supposed to only have 3 vents. This came with 5 of them. Then all the vents on the back here, I got them all opened up and meshed as well. Looking down into the engine bay, there wasn't a whole lot to work with, but I did my best to detail it up with some aftermarket goodies and some carbon fiber. And this is another kit with opening doors that just did not fit that well, so I had to tape them shut as well. And again, I could display this open, but since the rear engine bay doesn't open, I just prefer to keep everything on this one closed and shut tight. It's another great kit, and if I had to change anything about it, it'd be the tires. I still have slicks on this. I'd like to put some road car tires on it. Then after that, at least I think I'm going in order of what I built this year. I don't remember what order I built all these in. But I know sometime this year, I had also built this thing, the Revell VTS Ram. Now these stripes do line up. I was just messing with the hood to show you guys I got all that opened up, and I got some mesh in there as well. But for those of you that do remember, the decals on this were trash and I had to lay out my own stripes and paint them. That was fun. We get this hood off here, we can see I got the engine fully wired and detailed. I even put fuel injectors on that thing. That's something I've never done before. Another letdown of this kit was the rear tonneau cover. The factory piece did not fit, so I made a new one out of just a piece of for sale sign here. Other than that though, it's mostly a box stock build. I did put some seats in it out of a Dodge Viper, and I put the Dodge Viper discs all around. And I did tweak the suspension a little bit just to let it sit a little bit lower. All in all, it's a great kit. Not a whole lot I'd change about this one either. It turned out very well. Now next up is something I have never done before. This is a full 3D printed resin kit. And yes, I still do not have any of the plumbing or wiring that I had ordered. Outside of that though, being a tractor, I stuck with the traditional John Deere colors, yellow, black, and green. Only difference is I kind of made it my own. The yellow is Kevlar. The black, as you can see, that is all carbon fiber. And of course, the green, it's Mopar green, one of my favorite colors. This thing went together extremely well. They are doing some amazing things with 3D printers these days. The only thing I'd change is just getting all those engines wired up. And following that same theme, the next build was also a fully 3D printed resin kit. And these all came from the same guy, Outlaw Trophy Resins. And this car surprisingly didn't get a lot of traction for the channel. The Fast and the Furious franchise is huge, and anything involving the flip car had like millions of views. So I don't know, maybe I'm not good with the hashtags and all that stuff. Who knows? This kit was also a first for me in a few other ways. I'd made my own windows there, and it's my first attempt at weathering. I'm not much for the Fast and the Furious franchise, but this thing was actually fun to build. I enjoyed it, I really did. If I had to do anything on this over again, the only thing I would do different is add some detail to the engine. Next up was something I kind of started on my own. I call them legacy builds. When I had moved a few years ago, I'd lost about 30 or 40 built models. So I'm just building to replace those. And I had a little bit of a faux pas there. I was working with a new glue I've never worked with before. Nope, let me fix this mirror real quick. See, this is why I pin these in place. Anyways, I learned my lesson with that glue, and I got it all working out over on this side. Aside from that though, all I did was some major modifications to the chassis to get the ride height on this thing correct. Box stock, this thing sits like a four-wheel drive truck, and we couldn't have that. Outside of that though, underneath the bonnet, we have a fully detailed engine. That bonnet's just kind of hard to open on this thing, so I will leave it shut. Oh, I forgot to... Why is there tape down there? Huh, I don't remember. There's no doors on this thing that open. So if I had to do this one again for the third time, yeah, I don't think I'd change anything. I got a second chance to do it, and I did it the way I wanted to do it. Now this guy. This guy got the most likes on Instagram than anything I built so far. It's also a really fun build. This was like a community-friendly build-off challenge on the Build Lab Facebook group. See that logo right there? The theme was a work truck, just anything that's used for work. I've always wanted to do like a patinaed old rat rod, but modernized. So, I stuffed a big nasty twin turbo 572 down in there. I also got updated wheels, I got disc brakes all the way around, and I got this suspension slammed and setting exactly where I wanted it to sit. This is also the second time I've done any kind of weathering, and I gotta tell you, I think I like it. Not having to worry and stress over a perfect paint job, it's just, man, it's easy. And then most recently, I built this guy up, the Tamiya Porsche 959. And I have had some issues on this with this Meteor Gray paint, the paint not matching from panel to panel. Aside of that, it was mostly box stock. I just done some flocking. I shaved and smoothed the front grille because we don't have license plates here in Kansas on the front. And if we take this rear bonnet off, you can't see any of it, but I did a whole lot of wiring and plumbing on that engine. This was another, I don't want to say fun, but a stress-free build. It kind of had a little bit of a low parts count, so I had to do a lot of more masking than I wanted to, but it's not that bad. If I had to do anything over on it again, I'd just pay more attention to the paint. That is it though, guys. I've only got 8 kits built this year. That is 3 less than I did last year. You know what they say though, quality over quantity. I felt like I pushed myself and done better this year, and I'm all kinds of excited for next year.